In the heart of East New York, Brooklyn, there's a place where a basketball court is more than a basketball court. It's a classroom, a second home, and the starting point for something bigger. This is the Brooklyn Youth Sports Club. Founded in '09, Brooklyn Youth Sports Club started with just 30 kids. Teenagers from Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, East New York, Brownsville, and Bushwick who loved the game but had limited options for academic support or a path to college. So they built one. In 2011, they made a decision that would define everything they do. For every minute a student spends in the gym, they spend a minute in academic support. No exceptions. Because here, basketball isn't the goal. It's the door that opens into something greater. And it works. Every single student who has come through their doors has graduated high school. Everyone has enrolled in college. That's not luck. That's 15 years of showing up, believing in these kids, and giving them the tools to believe in themselves. Today, they serve over 300 young people a year through after-school programs, summer camps, volleyball, youth employment, and so much more. Take Greens, their environmental studies and garden program. In 2020, Brooklyn Youth looked at an empty lot next to their community center and saw something else entirely, a classroom with no walls. They turned that lot into a 5,000 square foot community garden, and it quickly became one of their most powerful teaching tools. Here, kids learn biology and sustainability by getting their hands in the dirt, growing food, growing patience, and growing a sense of ownership. Brooklyn Youth Sports Club has helped raise SAT scores by nearly 250 points on average per student. They've awarded more than $3 million in scholarships. But the real impact isn't in the numbers. It's in the kid who didn't think college was for them and is now there. It's in a community garden that used to be an empty lot. It's in every young person who walks through their door in East New York and finds out exactly what they're capable of. Because the truth is, finding your place is hard for the kid who just moved to a new base, a new school, a new city, a new set of faces. It's hard for any young person trying to figure out where they belong. The names and the neighborhoods change, but the challenge is the same. And so is what it takes to meet it. Showing up when it's hard, staying the course when it would be easier to quit, and holding yourself to a standard even when no one's watching. In psychology, there's a popular idea called the Pygmalion effect. In 1979, researchers Eden and Shawnee tested this directly with military trainees. Instructors were told, at random, that certain trainees showed high potential. Those trainees went on to outperform their peers, not because they were actually more capable, but because someone believed they were and treated them that way. Belief became behavior. Behavior became result. The opposite is just as true. When young people are met with doubt, with low expectations, with the assumption that they won't measure up, that doubt can become just as self-fulfilling. It can quietly shape how hard they try, how much they believe in themselves, and how far they think they're allowed to go. And once that doubt takes hold, it's hard to shake. Research on confirmation bias, first identified by psychologist Peter Wason in 1960, shows that once we form a belief about someone, we tend to notice the moments that prove us right and overlook the ones that don't. So a kid labeled as difficult gets noticed every time they act out and overlooked every time they don't. The label sticks, whether it's true or not. That's the difference Brooklyn Youth Sports Club makes. Every kid who walks through their doors is met with belief first, and with it, the accountability, perseverance, and excellence to match. Not just on the court, but in the classroom, and in life. This is the Brooklyn Youth Sports Club. Join us today as we meet Damon Lawrence, the Director of Programs and Family Engagement, as we explore the universal themes of belonging, engaging, and how to build community and excellence. Welcome to the MSEC podcast, produced by the Military Child Education Coalition, where it is our privilege and mission to better support all those who support our military-connected communities. I'm Kamali Constantine, and I'm so grateful to be here with you today. Hi, Damon. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad that you are here today, and I was hoping you could start out by telling us a little bit about you, a little bit about your organization, and what's going on today.
Good day, and thanks for having me. My name is Damon Lawrence, and I'm glad you guys are doing this for military parents. I was a military kid once upon a time. They need support,
Yeah.
especially for the upper military folk who are doing multiple tours and recontracting and going back in, and they needed a bunch of support, man. Yeah, I was so young, I didn't really recognize what was going on. My dad was in and out. I just thought, he was going to school, didn't recognize it till I was maybe 7, like, oh, my dad's in the military. Because I would rarely see him. I never really saw him with his uniform on until that last time. I'm like, I'm from, Dad, you in the military? Like, we learn how to make your bed. We learn how to fold your. I'm like, I was a kid,
Yeah.
Like, I was a kid. So I thought he was in college going back and forth to school.
Yeah.
Man, so thank you for those families. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant. And come from a pretty big family. My mom is the oldest of 9. I'm the oldest of 3 boys. Of my mom, 5 daughters and 2 sons of my dad. The oldest grand of 35. My son was 30 years old. The oldest great grand of 33. My grandmom is 90 years old. We just celebrated her 90th. Sacred Church Org. So clearly you can tell I come from a very big family. And then my grandmother's the oldest girl of 12 kids. With all that being said, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, growing up in the 80s, 90s, we had a lot of community organizations, namely the PAL, where my grandmother lived literally like right next door to the PAL. Like I can put my ear to my room because I'm a grandparent kid, even though I was raised by my parents. I used to be at my grandparents' house a lot, my dad and my mom's parents, but mostly my mom's, because they lived literally in between me. I can come off of my block and make a left, go to my mom's parents' house, make a right, go to my dad's parents' house, like literally one block.
Okay.
So I can put my ear to the PAL wall because it was attached to the game room, and I can hear who's in the game room. Oh, that's David. Oh, that's Kenneth. Oh, that's Sam. Oh, that's Kevin. And I don't know if I want to go to the PAL. Well, we had guys like Mr. Sonny and Mr. Timothy Vincent, God rest both of their souls, and Mr. Ronald Kelly, and a few other, male role models from the community, and then a few other female role models from the community, Miss Berry, Miss Allen, Miss Muzon, who basically created the person that I was going to becoming community and civically involved, and especially with helping young people. I was poured into a lot by them, and then also my older cousins, who was a band of 6 brothers. 5 of them played basketball. One was an NBA player, the other was the NCAA national champion at UNLV. So I come from kind of like that community, big family, always giving and receiving and vice versa, and pouring in to young people because I was poured into tremendously. And so that's kind of like my, I guess, my origin story of getting into youth and community involvement. In regards to Brooklyn Sports Club, I've been with them since about a year after their founding. I was with another program, another community-based NGO, and I had left there because I wanted to work more with Brooklyn kids, even though we did have Brooklyn kids coming up to the Bronx and Harlem, where that program was ran out of. And I met my partners, Lala Harris, and we just, locked in because we had the same ideals, the same visions for young people and servicing them and making sure that they were as successful as possible. At Brooklyn Youth Sports Club, we are a college-bound program. We started as an AAU traveling college-bound program. We had some teams, and we would compete nationally and regionally against some of the better basketball talent in the region and the country. We had a really good deal of success, but we recognized that we were losing uh, some kids to the fantasy of the NBA.
Okay.
Right. 0.2% of all aspiring high school athletes make it to play in the NBA. And then there's a 2% chance that high school athletes are going to even play college ball at any level. Well, what we were always able to hang our hat on was the fact that we had academic enrichment programming, which was centered around like SAT, test prep for the high school kids, ISSC and SSAT for the private school exams for the middle school kids going to high school. And we did our best to try to place as many kids in high academic environments that also offer basketball. So because at the end of the day, as a former corporate employee, the one thing I noticed is that corporations want to hire athletes.
Okay.
And when your basketball, when your volleyball, when your baseball stops, baseballing and volleyballing and wrestling and soccer and whatever sports you play at high school, college, because you have all of the characteristics of a successful business person, it's easier to recruit athletes because you don't have to motivate them. They're already motivated. They already have certain disciplines. They have certain characteristics of leadership and being able to follow and be a good teammate and clapping for someone else while the job is being done. And so, we focus mostly on the character development and the academic enrichment because as we know, everybody can't play professional sports, but everybody can go to college and get a degree, especially if you have those qualities. I need some guys that are like hungry. They don't have to be developed. They don't have to be academically strong. We would prefer you to give us the kids that are struggling so that we could bring them up to par. And when we hand them back to you, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how we pull our kids through relationships and word of mouth. We don't really advertise much, although our Instagram presence and LinkedIn presence has built up, which is why we're here today.
Right.
Because we do want to expand a little bit because we have some facilities of our own now that we can cater to so many more kids. So yeah, that's kind of like what we're doing and where we are. We've added some programming to the overall program. We have a greens program, a fruit and vegetable gardening program where kids are learning how to uh, plant, nurture, grow, prune, replant, mulch, like and develop and maintain their own ecosystem of whole foods. We grow everything from tomatoes to cherries to strawberries to lemongrass to lavender. Where we make some kids. Actually, my niece, who was an alumni of the program, she now has her own body oils and soaps, and she comes to our garden and she takes the lemongrass and the lavender and she makes her own essential oils and soaps that she's doing really good at, really, really well at marketing. Yeah, she's doing really well with it. Um, and then last summer we created a music program. So we now have kids as young as the third grade learning how to read and write music and play instruments and play instruments. So the program is growing tremendously. We created a STEM program. Well, we didn't create a STEM program. We partnered with a STEM program where our middle school athletes from our Nike Better Athlete Coalition, which is another program under the umbrella of Brooklyn Sports Club, they learned how to build their own apps based off of community needs. So the assignment was for them to identify 3 things in the community that the community is lacking that they would like to see in the community.
Okay.
And then they would have to find the resources to provide those things. right?
Okay.
And then they will have to create a whole entire portfolio and presentation uh, on how they're going to bring these things into the community.
Okay.
And, and then they learned how to build and create their own app uh, via, using like Adobe Photo, using Microsoft Pilot and Marvel. And they created their own app. Some of their apps are live and online right now.
Wow.
And they got their certifications in Adobe and Microsoft Pilot. And we have one kid going to San Jose to present in front of the C-suite of Adobe in August.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we have grown a lot, and we are still growing, and we're still trying to figure out some stuff because there's so much work that can be done, so much work that need to be done, especially here in the East New York area of Brooklyn. Well, Brooklyn overall, but mostly the areas that are designated as like food deserts and poverty stricken and violence are riddled. These kids can get out. They just need opportunity. Um, and so that's what we're here for. We're here to try to provide as much opportunity to these young people as possible.
Mm-hmm. So how big is the program, Damon? Like how many kids come through?
Well, through all of our iterations of the program, we can service annually anywhere between 2,500 or 3,500 kids participate in some kind of programming that we offer.
Okay. Awesome. And I read on the website that one of the things that y'all focus on is in order to have access to the programs, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have to there's sort of like a one-to-one component in terms of academic participation in order to play. It's kind of like
Yes.
a study
Yes.
play
Yes.
ticket. Is that
Yes.
correct?
So one of the things that we express and share with our parents is if you're not looking for college and post-secondary options, we're probably not for you,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
we don't fancy ourselves as a daycare.
Yeah.
We fancy our programming around a vision, and the vision is a step-by-step process in which we get kids into career readiness, whether it's through college and academics or whether it's through uh, trade school or the military. We've had guys go to the military. I'm actually holding one of our alumni's bag right now. I'm not sure if you can see it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, United States Army.
yes,
Okay.
he's in the army. Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So all of our guys and our young ladies their families have to be committed to allowing us to get them all the way through into post-secondary options.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So how do you if you have a family that starts with you, how do you make sure that they stay invested with you?
There are well during programming sessions because we run in intervals, and all programs don't run at the same time, and all programs don't run uh in the same seasons. So so our Better Athlete Coalition, which is our basketball-based boys program, which is middle school kids, upper elementary and middle school guys, we run from the fall to the spring. And during those sessions, weekly, there's messaging that goes out in regards to what's next, what we need parents to do, especially during, let's say, the seasons where kids have to have their high school applications in,
Uh-huh.
or there's some high school specialized testing going on. I send out the messages to parents, make sure that parents are following up with the direction, finding out if they need help and assistance with anything, because some of them are their first time going through this process. And so the ISSC, the SSAT, or let's just say a private school's application may be a challenge,
Right.
right? And so we ask them that if there is any issue, they contact myself so that they can come to the facility. We can sit down in front of a laptop, a desktop, and
Right.
we can go through the application process together, or they call our contact person at that particular private school who can actually walk them through it way better than I can, because sometimes some systems could be overridden, uh, especially if you've already, let's say, for instance, this family took a visit to that school already, because we do take a lot of private and prep school tours and visits, because of the relationships that we've established over the years by sending kids to these private and prep boarding schools. Um, and so keeping them abreast on when is the tax test for the New York City Catholic school exam. When is those tests? So potentially we have an option to get a kid out of Christ the King, a Bishop Lockland, a Zavarian Memorial High School. Keeping them abreast and making sure that they're making these appointments and making these deadlines.
Right.
And if they're having financial issues, do we have to find a board member to go and solicit funds so we could pay for an application fee, pay for an enrollment course, that enrollment fee that comes separate from the tuition. So these go out very, very randomly, but generally weekly, because a lot of programming does have week-to-week scheduling. There are weeks that we are in the building and we're getting some academic enrichment in, whether it's financial literacy, political literacy, STEM, critical thinking workshops, um, film, because we watch a lot of film to teach kids how to study, break down, identify the nuances of the game. So that when they're out there and they see these things, they know how to react. They know what to do, what not to do, what to stay away from, uh, so on and so forth. So yeah, there is consistent communication. We have to, because parents need to know what we're doing with their kids.
Right.
Um, and then there are times where we have our civic and community engagements where kids are not coming to our facility. They're meeting us, let's just say, at a senior home where we're, serving and catering to seniors for the day, because that is a big part of what we do as well. Kids have to participate a certain amount of community service hours, whether it's with the program or on their own, because some of our parents are civically engaged. They're church people. Um, they go to the mosque, they go to the synagogue, and they have their own community events. And so we just ask that they share it, because if there's anything we can help to move that forward, we want to be a part of that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, so are there any particular families that have really spoke to you or resonated like in terms of their growth story or their experience and would you be interested in sharing that with us?
We have a few families, but there's one kid that sticks out the most. He was in the program when I became uh, boys basketball director at the time before I became program director. Uh, well, director of programming and parent engagement, and post-secondary enrollment. But it was a young guy who was a struggling student, and he was also a struggling athlete. He was at South Shore High School in Brooklyn, which is, one of the non-high performance schools. But he just had this thing about him. And so when I did tryouts, he was played on my team. The founder of my program, uh, Lau Freeze, kept saying, like, this is Dame. I'm telling you, I love this guy. This kid is. And I'm like, all right, let me watch it. Let me see. And I'm like, I get it. If you're walking in the room and you got a couple bags, like Elijah's running across the room to help you with the bag. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you're struggling in the drill as a player and you keep missing your shot, you keep bouncing the ball off your foot that's going out of bounds. He's the first one to come over and clap for you and say, "Nah, come on, let's keep working, let's keep working." So he caught he automatically like kind of like grabbed my attention. Uh, and I think without Loud telling me, well, I know without Loud telling me that it would have happened anyway, because you can't miss those kind of people. And so he played on my team. He didn't play a lot. He would question me, Coach Dame, how come I'm not getting any minutes? And I'm like, look at the guys in front of you, man. These guys are really good. Like our goal is to get to the big court so that we can play in front of colleges. And if they do a good job, then they'll give you an opportunity to get some minutes based on, their performance. And I can get you some time to play in front of some coaches so you can get recruited. And he will always say, oh, I get it, I understand. And then after practice, he would stay late. Coach Dan, can I get some extra shots up? Now I got a wife. I got to go home. My son played on the team as well, but I want to spend some time with my son outside of, asking. And so I'm like, you know what? And my son will look at me and he'll go, come on, let's get some extra shots up, Dad. And we'll get some extra shots up. And we wound up getting them into Trevor Day, day school. up on the Upper West Side by Central Park, and he wound up becoming a 1,500-point scorer in 3 years. And he went to Bard, and out of Bard, uh, he got offered a job to work in the community engagement department of the Milwaukee Bucks, fresh out of college.
Wow.
And this was a kid that didn't play a lot of AAU minutes. He played a lot of varsity minutes on the school team, but on the AAU level, where you have a hodgepodge of the best kids that you can accumulate or develop on one team, the better kids are going to get the time. They're going to get the minutes. They're going to get the ability to showcase their skills more. But he stayed with it, and he never gave up, and he became our best practice player. He became the guy that basically was the second coach from the bench and on the court when he got to play. And I'm very proud of Elijah. I'm very proud of Elijah. Elijah, he superseded the success of some of the better players on that team. Like, basketball is over for those guys. And Elijah, like my son, is 30 years old, and he's a high six-figure earner. Right? And then there's guys on that team who are doing pretty good in their lives. They're still chasing, lower paying contracts overseas, playing basketball nonetheless and making a good living. But, Elijah is a kid who, to me, he's the blueprint of what Brooklyn Youth Sports Club is about.
Yeah.
Like, when basketball is over, who are you?
I love that.
Right? Because at the end of the day, one of my cousins, Dale Scurry, he used to always tell me, like, Damon, you play basketball, you're not a basketball player. You're Damon Lawrence. You're my cousin's son. You're a basketball player. That's not what you are. It's what you do. Right? So, like, lock in on the other small things. And he was 100% correct. And I'm grateful for him. I appreciate him. And so that's the same thing that I instill in these young guys. We rarely talk about basketball. We talk about the responsibilities that basketball holds you to. All right, there's 5 guys on the court at a time on one team. And if your teammate is overextended, your job is to do what? Help. Right? And so that goes right into the everyday living of human beings. And so I use basketball to teach life skills because it's more lasting, it's more valuable, and you'll get more from that aspect of basketball than you ever will from the actual basketball. So
that's good stuff. That's really powerful.
Focus on the Elijahs, because the Elijahs that's a 100%, 1,000% can do.
Yeah.
The Julian Champagny, the Jose Alvarado is not. That's not like it's not a given.
Well, it goes back to that percentage that you were saying at the beginning.
It's 0.2.
Yeah.
Well, 0.02.
Yeah.
0.02.
Well, and then I guess sort of I'm curious. I know that right now you're director of sort of a much bigger piece of the organization, but especially when you were back focused on the boys and the basketball program, what are some of the values that you were really focused on them? In particular, I think because they were young boys, that you felt like, in particular, helping them to become men was something that you were really trying to make sure lessons that they were learning.
Probably 2 things in particular I harp on the most. You get the results from the work you put out, right? And so whatever it is you want, you have to do the things that is going to start leading towards that. So if you have questions and you don't know how to get there, you need to ask. But more importantly, you need to be doing the work when you get the information. You have to start doing the things that's going to push you and propel you in the direction of the things that you want. And then the second thing is you have to stay committed to it. Like, commitment is everything. Commitment is everything. Right now in our room, we have a group that is going through a financial literacy workshop. And on the board, on a whiteboard behind them, there's a quote. It's going to be up the whole summer. I'm not going to take it down. And that quote is, "You are what you do when no one is watching."
Mm. Mhm.
Right? And so you can't say you want something only when you're with us, but you're not doing any of the things that you've learned with us when you're on your own time.
Mhm.
Like you with us a couple hours a day. You're home longer than that. You're with us a couple days a week. You're home longer than that. Why aren't you reading at home?
Yeah.
If you're learning about the stock market and financial literacy, why aren't you learning about stocks on your own? Because we all would like to be wealthy, not necessarily rich, but we all would like to have a very healthy, lifestyle, which we can do the things that we need to do whenever without worrying.
Right.
What's the best way to do that? Earn some money, right?
Right.
And if you have options and you're learning about all of these options, mutual bonds, funds, stocks, investments, then if you're not doing that on your own, then do you really want it? You just can't come here and do what you want.
Yeah.
Working hard, following through with the things you say you want. So it goes back to what I was saying before. The two things that I kind of like hop on the most. Your actions got to match your words. Uh, and the kid will say, "I want to be the best basketball player in the world," but you don't want to do the work, right? On
Mhm.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, we go to the beach, and we're on the beach for the whole first half of the day, and we're training and we're running, and it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were in the weight room. Today we're in the gym. Like this is gonna be a really tough workout for these kids right now.
Yeah.
Some kids may not come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so my thing to the parent is you can't allow your kid to quit. Now, from a talent aspect of your kid says, you know what? I don't think I'm as good as I thought I was. That's fine. But why would you not bring them back? Because we have other programming for them outside of basketball.
Mhm.
And the parent won't uh send the kid back or bring the kid back. That's not a us thing.
I know. So do you have any tactics or strategies to
Yeah, I generally what I generally do is because I do a lot of recording. I'll show them pictures or videos of a kid that's standing right next to them that couldn't walk without tripping over a flat line that's even with the ground. And then I'll say, "Look at that kid. Now you think that kid is pretty good, don't you? Now look at this video. Oh, that's you. Yeah, that's him. And now look at him.
Mhm.
He's dunking the basketball, shooting it from half court. You don't think you could do the same thing?" And but the home is the most important place for a young person. Um, I camp was not allowed in my dictionary. Again, I share with you, I have 5 cousins that played basketball on the collegiate level, the pro level. And they didn't, I couldn't say I can, I don't want, like, nah, they didn't allow it. They
Mhm.
didn't allow it. If I had a better option, then I can pivot, but I can't quit.
Yeah.
You can change your mind and you could pivot to something else, but you can't quit.
Yeah.
And I try to get my parents to take on the same mindset, but some come around, some don't. But I've learned a hard lesson that you're gonna lose some people.
Mhm.
And you have to be okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be okay with losing some people. Um, just don't want to lose more than a percent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what it is. We lose one, two. We don't lose many kids.
Yeah.
Uh, I say we don't lose many families. They stay down with us all the way through. Um, so yeah,
And I think it's good to have those high expectations because I think and research proves like people rise to it, like you have high expectations, people rise to those expectations.
yeah, especially young people, especially
Mhm.
young people. They're
Absolutely.
babies. They're young. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. They don't know anything. So you got to fool and trick them into their success sometimes.
Mhm.
And I
Absolutely.
trust me. I use every tactic. One of my guys, I was telling about my cousins. One of my friends, his son, he's on his way here. He comes the second half of the day because he works. He's going to a senior year high school. His family is also a basketball family. So my cousins and his cousins, they played high school ball together. Like, you can't tell this kid that he isn't the best thing since gravy on mashed potatoes. And the thing about it is, early on, he was wrong and people laughed at him. But now he's right. So
All right, he got there. He got
you,
there.
you understand? Like, like that kid had a delusional mindset about himself that with the work and the commitment and the dedication and the support, he was able to prove himself right. So that's what we hope for. That's what we hope for. That's all we can hope for. And everything else, we can, we can at least get a kid into college. That's a win. That's one kid that's not on the street. That's one kid that's not, you know, having kids young. We don't get any grace. And so don't give yourself grace, but don't expect grace. And how do you get through that from a mental aspect? Is you have to stay committed to the task at hand. Falling short doesn't mean failure. It means that you have some more to learn. Right. So stay committed, whether you're succeeding or you're failing. Stay committed, because eventually you're going to break through. Right. And once you break through, you got to stay there. He's one of my alumni just walked in right now. Say what up, T. How you doing?
Hey there.
Votes? No, that's not Holmes. That's not. He thought. Yeah. So that's the those are the two things. Like, stay committed, and do the work. Stay committed and do the work. It's the only way that you're gonna, find your way to that which it is that you aspire for.
It's funny, Damon, that what you said is on the board in their financial literacy class. That's how that's what I tell my kids is the definition of integrity. Is what you doing when no one's watching is what integrity is.
Yep.
So,
Big on it. Huge on it. Yeah. So, we have our work cut out for us here, but we're here for it. We want to do it. Like, we want to do it. We want to get it done. The kids are allowing us. The parents are trusting us. And so I'm just in a place to be grateful and appreciative of the ability to actually service some young people and have a positive impact on their outcomes. Yeah. Like, this young fellow that just walked in. So he was my high school student. He was the kid first that I used to coach against. So he played for a rival AAU team. He used to, kick our behind. We used to kick their behind. And then I didn't see him anymore. And then he wound up transferring to a school that I worked at. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I didn't stay committed. I wasn't dedicated to my craft. And, I got to reset. And so immediately, I got in his ear and got my administrators to, identify who he was. Like, this is Teron Lowell. This is like, yo, look, we got a good one. Like, he's telling me, like, he transferred here because the situation wasn't the best. Like, we got to pour into this kid. This kid has a lot of potential. Long story short, he played on the basketball team. They went to the finals. They did take a loss, but they went to the finals. First time in the school's history, they went to the finals. Okay. He graduated, went to school, and now he is one of our building engineers here at our East New York site. First, he was our bus driver. We had a bus that we picked kids up from different locations, and then he became our assistant engineer. So he runs the maintenance, the heating, boiling, yeah. So, he's another success story.
Right.
He's another success story, and so yeah, that's.
How do you define success for yourself?
The more kids we get enrolled into post-secondary opportunities, the better for us, because it shows that our program is working. The more kids that we get into professional careers, the better for us, because it shows that our program is working. A couple years ago, I forgot about this part. I created a internship program for our graduate alumni.
Okay.
Because one of the things that we do is if I walk through this facility, you'll see a lot of young adults overseeing our camps, the Greens camp, the music camp, and our Better Athlete Coalition basketball program. All of those kids were once participants in this program.
Okay.
So these kids range from the ages of 17, high school seniors, to college grads, right? So we have junior camp counselors, those are our high school kids. We have camp counselors, our college kids, and then we have camp directors, which is our college kids or our college graduates. And some of them are here for a few hours. Some of them are here for the whole day. But we're attached basically for the rest of their lives. We're going to be attached to them because their growth came with us. We need to help them. And so being a former corporate department head, I have a lot of relationships still in corporate America, from anywhere from Martha Stewart to Morgan Stanley to NBC Universal to Skadden Slate Mega Flom. And I say, let me make some phone calls. Send me your resume. Let's get these cover letters together. Let's clean up these resumes. Let me call my friend at NBC. Let me call my friend over here. Let me call my friend over there. And then I recognize this is something that we need to be doing twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we created an internship program where we get our kids hired at corporations, Fortune 100, Fortune 500, Fortune 50 companies, and they're, spreading their wings. That's success to us.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing kids do to the next level, whether that's high school, whether it's college, post-secondary enrollment, military academies, or whether it's career readiness. So we've even added that, and that's slowly starting to big up. And so eventually we're going to have to start fundraising and grant writing, because the longer we run, the more kids we're going to have to service that are going to be looking for career opportunities.
Yeah.
So we're going to need staff. We're going to need, we have space for God. We have space. We've been blessed with that. We have space, but, the program is going to grow.
And that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
It is a good problem to have. So yeah, that's how I measure success. Of how are kids leaving the program and how are they coming back to the program.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids, they run this camp. I'm on the phone with you.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm in a podcast, right? And it's a bunch of students with third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth graders, and you don't hear any noise.
Right.
Because everybody's engaged. Kids are learning how to read music, kids are writing music, kids are getting financial literacy, kids are plucking up and pruning, fruits and vegetables in the garden. There's no one in the gym right now. So everything is learning right now. From a holistic standpoint, there's no bouncing of a basketball right now. So that is very important. And that's very key to me.
Yeah.
Stretching and expanding that, the thinking and the, mindsets of young people.
Yeah. Well, this has been an awesome talk, Damon.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm Camille Constantine. Thank you for listening to the MSEC podcast, the official podcast of the Military Child Education Coalition, where we build connections between communities, narrow the divide between military-connected children and their peers, and support the adults who support them. Military life is ever-changing, but our help is always here. This podcast was made possible through generous funding by the USAA Foundation. It's mixed and mastered by Consensus Media. If this episode resonated, tell a friend and leave a review. It helps more families and communities find us. Help us to get the word out. Thank you so much for your time and listening with us today.